Hello, I'm Executive Chef Joseph Schulze. Welcome to our kitchen. Today I'd like to share with you my recipe for a rack of pork stuffed with a Hungarian Kolbász. There are a couple different ways to do this. I will demonstrate one of them and explain another. So join me now as I show you how easy this flavorful dish can be. Well, here we are. We have our French pork loin, or a rack of pork. Couple ways we can do this. One, we could either cut a hole straight through the side of the loin lengthwise, and then take your Kolbász and insert till it reaches the end. Season it and roast it. Very simple. That I would recommend for something that is a little drier of a Kolbász. The one I'm using today is actually a little softer and definitely more moist. So I can actually take it out of the casing and I'm going to use it as a spread. Italians have a thing called Nduja, which is basically it's prosciutto that has been pulverized to like a spreadable paste. Not as fine as a paste or a puree, but yet still soft and spreadable. The difference or the advantage, I think, over using Hungarian Kolbász over the Nduja is, well, it's Hungarian and so am I, so hey, a little bit biased there. But seriously, the Nduja and prosciutto is only cured pork, where the Kolbász is a cured pork, but it's also smoky and gonna add that much more flavor to it. So what we're going to do is we're gonna cut ours out and we're gonna spread it on the interior and then roll it back up and tie it. So what we wanna do is start from right behind the bones and make your cut following the rib, and then turn once you get to towards the cap. And we're gonna make nice, long, steady cuts and keeping it even. And there we have our rack. Now what I like to do is season it with a game rub that I have. I will have the ingredients for that below. A little salt. Now that we have it seasoned, let's go ahead and do the inside. Be careful with the amount of salt, because the Kolbász is going to have a fair amount of salt in it to begin with, and you don't want to make it too salty. On top of this dry rub I have in here, I like to also add some fresh herbs. So the fresh herbs, I have marjoram, parsley, thyme, rosemary. So now that we have the herb in there, let's go ahead and take our Kolbász. This, all I'm going to do is just press it in, make a nice level, even layer the entire length of the pork loin. Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to tie my knot on my butcher's twine, a little choker knot. Take off some slack. Then I want to roll this up. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people make is when they're rolling up the loin or whatever they're stuffing, is that they tend to pull it too tight. And also when they're tying it up, they make it too tight. So go gentle, be patient with it. Let's go ahead and start tying it. We'll slip our loop between the first and second bone and go ahead and gently pull it snug. I like to keep the knot up towards the bone. Then go ahead and cross and flip over again, and I will take it between the second and third bone. So what I like to do is get a Sauté pan or a Dutch oven, preheated on medium to medium high heat. Add some blended oil and go ahead and start searing our meat. Let's give it a look here. Yes, getting nice bark on there, nice color. So let's go ahead and start to turn it. Repeat until we get a nice even crust all the way around. There we are, nice color. Go ahead and get this last side there. Once we sear this side, we're going to transfer it to a wire rack on a sheet pan and put it into a preheated oven, 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, there you have the stuffed pork rack with the Hungarian Kolbász. Very good looking dish, very flavorful. It's a lot of fun to make too, because you get to play around with a little bit of butchering if you feel to do it. But even if you are pressed for little time, you could always just make the cut straight through the center of the loin and stuff the Kolbász whole rather than going this direction. Just showing an alternative way to stuff the pork rack. This dish, fantastic with, you know, any of your favorite sides. Brussels sprouts, asparagus, sweet potatoes, you know, lyonnaise potato, even dauphinoise. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's demonstration and hope you give it a shot. If you like the content we're doing, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Be up to date to every one of our newest uploads. And thanks again for joining us. Gyulai.